My hair's still wet. I'm sweating. I just turned the air conditioning on. Can you hear it in the background at all? I think it's pretty quiet.
It's
I
pretty
had it
chill.
off, but okay, well,
Here we go. We're
hopefully
live.
I'll stop sweating soon and I'll be able to.
Hey, this is Benjamin Boyce and Meghan Murphy. Meghan Murphy is a author. Well, no, not quite an author. Have you done a book yet? You're still a
Well,
writer.
I have written a book. It's just
Is it out
never
there?
been published. So I don't know. I think you just have to call me a writer for now. Alas.
Okay, but do you have a book in the works? Or is it already done? It's not going
Yeah.
to be published. Okay.
Well, okay. So I finished. Wait, are we live now?
We're live. We're doing
Okay.
introductions right now. This is Meghan Murphy.
Hi, everyone.
This is
Sorry,
Benjamin
I'm
Boyce.
sweaty and my hair is still wet.
That's the way we like you, Megan.
But I do have
What were you
clothes
doing? Like
on.
swimming with the manatees or what's down there? Because you're an international woman.
Oh,
Megan Murphy is an international woman. So this is
yeah,
kind of
I'm
like
like a
URSAT's
Mexican.
International Women's Day activity.
I'm a local now over here. I think no, I had a long night last night, so didn't really get going until quite recently.
I want to hear some of your stories,
Showered for
actually.
like half an
Hopefully we
hour.
can hear that about the
I
story
have
about you getting in a fight with the plant lady. No? Okay, we can't talk about that.
I have
Okay.
lots my bruises.
Yeah, we can
My,
show. We don't have to show them, but it would be nice to hear about your adventures.
I
Unless
can
you
show
want to just be completely incognito.
No, I'm okay. I'm open.
Okay.
But so the book, I finished the manuscript, but I was writing it for like a local publisher in Vancouver, and then I got canceled naturally, which should come as a surprise to nobody.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, yeah. So they dropped me like around when I was kicked off of Twitter,
Oh, okay.
and I had just gone through the last round of edits. And a bunch of people offered to publish it, but I honestly wasn't happy with the manuscript because I'd written it specifically for that publisher, and the way that they
Okay.
had led me was not like it never really felt like my voice. And I've also, changed my mind about so many things since
Oh,
that. Like that was
really?
2018. That was the end of 2018, and now it
You know
is
what? That's the
21.
first time we spoke, and you have changed.
I have changed a lot. I'm a whole new person. Sorry, I have like this is my new this is my bar voice. I'm not joking. This is what my voice permanently sounds like now
Uh,
because
can you get
I've
your
dealt with
close?
some
Can you get your mouth right up to that microphone? We can do some ASMR.
Oh, okay.
No, you have to lower your
I'm
voice when you get really
closer.
close.
Wait. Oh, I get it. I thought you
Yeah,
were like
yeah.
saying that my sound was fucked, but you're just trying to turn me into like a sex object.
I don't think ASMR is specifically about eroticism, but it might be for some people.
Okay, well,
Do
I'm
you know
just
what?
assuming I sound sexy, and you're like, no, that's not what I meant. You sound like an old lady who goes to the bar too much. People here smoke all the time, like people smoke in bars and stuff. So I do not smoke, but so
Yeah,
the combination of being in really loud bars, so yelling all the time,
yeah,
and then there's smoke and stuff. But
yeah, yeah.
so yeah, I changed my mind about a bunch of stuff. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that I want to rewrite, and I just never have time to do it. Like I'm supposed to be doing it. Like I have like an agent, and I'm just like part of the reason that like I came here was to Mexico was to escape lockdown in Canada, obviously.
Yeah. Which
But
could have
also,
been good for the book, but it wasn't so good for the book.
I mean,
Wherever you go, there you are, Megan Murphy.
I'm always working no matter what.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like lockdown happened and I was like, oh, I'll have more time, but I just filled it up with more work. And here I'm still working, but I do need to work on it because I do want to publish something. It's just, and I want to, publish something that's authentic to me
Yeah.
currently as opposed to when I probably started writing that book in like 2016 or 2017. Like that's a long time ago as far as my brain goes.
Actually, you know what? I've noticed this when I talk to people, I interview people a lot, and we talk about their story. And it's really actually important right now to name the year when things change for them, because within the last 7 years, a lot of people have changed, and the world has changed too.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of, I just noticed that it's really important to map that, to see where they are connected to the greater societal change.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess for me, it was probably around that time, right? Like when we first talked, and then you convinced me that, everything I'd ever thought was wrong and stupid, and you mansplained the right way to think to me.
Oh man, I don't want to get into that conversation because I want to
I'm
keep
joking.
this.
It was my boyfriend.
No, you had a really, yeah. You had a few cool dudes around you. Do you think,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, this might be edgy. How do you think women have shaped your thought, and how do you think men have shaped your thought? Is that a fair question? Something you can grapple
It's a
with?
fair question, but I think it's a really hard question to answer. So, I mean, obviously, I feel like my experience as a woman and a woman who has lots of female friends, like I think I have a very good sense of the female experience, which we know is universal.
It's a
And
monolith. Well,
yeah,
it's probably a monodome, more of an
the,
umbrella than a spire.
I just realized I should open YouTube so I can see the live chat
Yeah, just
in
make
case.
sure to mute it so you don't get
Yeah,
confused, because there's
I'm
going to be
just,
a 30-second lag or something like that.
yeah,
You
let
can
me
see the
just try
chats.
not to screw that
I'll keep
up.
my eye on them too.
Um, yeah, tell me if they're saying nice things about me.
Oh yeah, you need that reinforcement. You need the scaffolding of internet tippy-tappy praise.
I don't.
You
I have
don't?
a very robust ego. Oh, I mean, I feel like I have, I've had a lot of, and still do. Sorry, I'm gonna try to mute this in time.
Yeah,
Okay, I
mute
think
it,
I did.
and I wonder if you can set the quality to very low, because now it's degrading your image. And we
Oh,
need the
well, I'll
crisp
just close
Meghan
it then,
Murphy.
because it's my Wi-Fi here is not the
Dunny
best.
Roa wants to know if you voted for Trump or Biden.
I didn't vote in the American election, you tards. I, I'm
You're
Canadian.
Canadian, so you can say that.
You know what? Okay, wait. Is the connection still bad? Should I close this window and I can just open it
You're
on my phone?
getting better. Things are getting better. Actually, well, if you
Okay.
get on your phone, it'll still be using the same Wi-Fi network. You want to see this scroll? You want to see the scroll? Okay.
Okay, well, tell me if you want me to close it. Okay, but you know what? The honest truth is,
Oh.
I have dual citizenship.
Oh.
Did you know that about me?
No.
I don't
Is it
advertise.
by way of ovum or seed? From whence comes your duality?
My mom is American.
Oh, okay. So you're an egg American.
Yeah, I'm an egg American, but I've never lived in America. I've lived in Vancouver my whole life until now.
Which is
But
semi-permanent, it seems like.
yeah, I don't think I'm gonna come home. I I sort of like I came here and I planned to I had an Airbnb booked here. I bought a one-way ticket to Mexico. I had an Airbnb here booked for like 5 weeks. And then I sort of thought it's like I might not be able to come back because Trudeau was threatening this hotel quarantine thing, and I was like, he's such a
Trudeau.
fucking fool. He like,
Trudeau.
yeah, that's how you say it in French.
Trudeau.
He's not French. He just has a name.
He
Well,
could
he's
probably.
okay. I guess
Yeah,
he's sort of French, but
he can.
he's from BC, so
I'm sure a lot of people want to French him though.
I don't know. I hope not anymore. He's destroyed our lives. He should be
Yeah.
punished.
I don't know. There's a lot of things about that. There's many
I don't
layers to the Canadian cake of oppression.
Man is a drama teacher. Why is he Prime Minister of Canada? He doesn't know anything about anything.
What do you think a
Anyway,
politician is?
hey, I'm talking here.
Okay,
I'm
you have a
joking.
lot of questions on your plate.
Okay, so I just want to tell you what happened about Mexico. So
Okay.
I didn't, and then I thought, okay, there might be this hotel quarantine thing. If things get worse in Canada, I won't want to come back. I'm definitely not coming back and staying in some creepy quarantine hotel. And I also just thought, I was like, maybe I just won't want to come back. And actually, and I was trying to decide if I should bring my dog or not in case I didn't come back. And I sort of decided pretty close to leaving. A friend convinced me, actually. She was like, but you might not want to come back. So I brought my dog with me. And lo and behold, Trudeau decided to put people in quarantine jail if they dare leave the country. Because obviously we're all diseased, even if we're not diseased. And I'm just like, I'm so happy here and I'm having so much fun and I hate Canada and I don't ever want to come home.
Oh, that's sad.
So I'm probably here. I'm planning to stay through May. I might come back to Vancouver in the summer and then come back again in October. Like the summers here are pretty intense, I hear. I've never stayed past March, but
It's called a snowbird or snow loon. Is that what you're
I'm just going to become a snowbird. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. It's my place. I mean, see how I feel come May.
Yeah. Well, your business, you have a lot of friends online. I don't know how sustaining that is, but your biz, you write, and you've been working on this YouTube channel. Is it a year old now?
Well, like the podcast is. Okay. I think I started the YouTube channel around when I was kicked off Twitter because I was like, I need other social media, I guess. But I didn't really do much with it. I didn't really know what I wanted to do with it. And then I finally figured out what I wanted to do with it. And so, The Same Drugs is like a year old now. So, I mean, and I'm still running Feminist Current and doing the Feminist Current podcast. And I have the Patreon. So I'm hoping to just continue doing what I'm doing. I mean, I'd wanted to leave Vancouver before all this happened. I was just over it. I was over Canada. I was over Vancouver. I decided that. Do I have to laugh at your stupid jokes?
No, you just let me like pop off in the corner while you take the stage. You're front and center here, Meghan Murphy. This is your show.
I know. That's why I'm talking so much and not letting you say anything.
That's fine. I'm fine with that. I just have
so much to say.
Yeah.
I was sick of Vancouver, and I had also decided that I didn't want to meet a man in Vancouver. Like I wanted to meet a man from somewhere else because Vancouver men are awful. Like you
used them up.
I used them up. Is that what you said?
You went through them and you got the lay of the land. And
I determined that I didn't want to do that anymore. Yeah. They're the worst. Yeah. They're gross. They're unattractive. They're like these skinny, boring, pasty, like hipstery dudes who think that they're interesting because they have tattoos but are not interesting at all. And are like snotty and lazy and privileged and like.
It's like you're describing me without the tattoos, though.
You're not lazy and you're not.
I'm not skinny
at
anymore.
All.
I was going to do my blood pressure at the beginning of this, and then at the end to prove to the world your effect on me.
You're just fishing for compliments. Don't do that.
I don't need any compliments. But Artie Morty's in the chat.
Hi.
Artie's confused if it's my channel or yours. Well, it's mine, and so Meghan gets all the power.
I feel like okay. I mean, I agree.
I'm kidding. Well, or not. We can go either way.
I think somebody said, are they not manly? I think a lot of them are not manly. I exclusively date manly men, so I have dated manly men, but they're just not interesting, and they're not friendly, and they don't try. Like I think they're very spoiled. There's lots of, beautiful women in Vancouver. Oh. They're also boring, but I mean, boring people should date each other so that I don't have to date them.
Yeah. They're exciting on the outside, at least.
I think they're just really entitled and privileged, and like they just expect to not have to do anything and for women to, you know, be in relationships with them anyway, because I think that's how it goes. But I also just think, I think men from other countries are just, they're much, I don't know, like I've been rewired, and now I'm obsessed with Mexican guys, and I never go back to, to Canadians again.
You're just like riding their motorcycles and yelling at them in bars and getting into fist fights with their ex-girlfriends. And
I mean,
that was so true. Your face lit up. Like I hit all of the points, one after the other.
I'm in a surf town, so there's like a lot of like young surfer, like skater kind of guys who are like attractive. Everyone drives like old motorbikes, which I love.
Boom, 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 boom.
And I really like Mexicans, and like Mexicans are very like friendly people. Like they're fun and they like to party, and they're easy to get along with. And I mean, the culture here is much more interesting than Canadian culture, so I think inevitably the people are more interesting. And yeah, it's just, and I don't know, like I thought maybe I need to meet a man who's like from the UK or like European or even American. Like I like Americans depending on where they're from, a lot more than Canadians.
Okay. It sounds like you have some geographical bias or something.
Well, I mean, I loved Vancouver for a really long time. Like I was a big fan of Vancouver, and everybody in Vancouver, like it's very trendy in Vancouver to complain about Vancouver and to hate Vancouver. And I was always one of those people that was like, what? Like Vancouver's the best. Like, what are you talking about? Like, it's beautiful. There's great restaurants. Like, we have mountains, we have water, we have trees, like outfits. Like, but I didn't, you know, I'd never lived anywhere else. And then I guess what happens to people is that they go other places and they're like, oh, Vancouver sucks. Canada sucks. I'm not a cougar. Everyone here thinks I'm in my 20s, so it doesn't count.
Wait, isn't that what a cougar is? Somebody that's not in their 20s anymore, hitting on young surfer guys and riding their motorcycles into the sunset and falling off, get bruised. I didn't fall off. I didn't really got anywhere. It's amazing how right I am. I feel like the woman in this conversation.
I burnt my ankle a little bit on the bike, but I didn't get anywhere. I tried again last night.
We're going through your Mexican battle wounds.
Oh my God. My knees?
Can I ask you a question?
What?
About current events?
Yes.
Did you hear about Super Straight? Did you hear about this phenomena?
Yeah.
Can I tell you what happened?
Yeah, tell me.
Okay. Because it's interesting. I want to hear your thoughts on this. So this kid, 16-year-old kid on TikTok, he said that he was tired of being accused of being a phobe for saying that he doesn't want to interact physically with people of the same sex but different gender. And he said that, you know, my sexuality is being super straight. And what was amazing about that, I think he was probably largely joking, and it took off. Reddit started people on Reddit started a super straight subreddit, and it was up to 25,000 people. They raised $7,000 for Vancouver Rape Relief, which is denied government funding. Yeah, they raised $7,000. Oh, wow. The community was nuked by Reddit. They killed it. And GoFundMe stripped that Vancouver Rape Relief of the $7,000.
No.
So they can't even support raped women. Raped women.
Well, they're women. That's the problem.
Raped women are of a lesser. It's a lesser status than this made-up gender. The entire structure. Okay, there are trans individuals, and then there's this trans lobby thing. Trans individuals, they're just like everybody else. There's good people, bad people, whatever. And I'm sure that and being trans, there's a lot of issues. Try to cover that. Try to be really try to meet a lot of great people in that category. But there's this whole trans lobby that you know that is exerting complete control over everybody, and people are getting tired of it. People are getting absolutely fed up with it, and they're getting squashed. They're getting squashed in numbers now. So I don't know how long it's going to last. I don't know the arc of this. They're going to stamp out this, the hashtag and all the movements and stuff, but it's going to keep on happening. There's going to be more and more pushback. That's what I think. What do you think?
Wait, what? When did this happen?
The GoFundMe was nuked, I think it was yesterday, and so was the subreddit. It was nuked yesterday or the day before.
So why did the GoFundMe cancel what was their reasoning?
Because the trans lobby, which is, from above and from below, so from below, they just report this thing for harassment, which doesn't even make any sense. How is supporting raped women harassment?
Well, we know why. Because anything that doesn't center and big up and support this delusional ideology is violence or harassment or hate.
Or hatred or fear.
Right? Anything that's the actual truth. I mean, I don't know what the language was in this GoFundMe, but
it was very straightforward.
It was offensive.
Yeah. Super straightforward.
I look tired? Who's saying, do I look tired?
Oh, Megan, don't start going down the live stream criticism.
I don't look tired.
Reaction.
I was up until 7 a.m.
Don't do it. Don't go down that.
7 a.m.
Don't feed them.
And then I had to get out of the house
Wait
by
for something
1
interesting
to go to my
be asked.
Spanish lesson.
If somebody has something interesting, then respond to that.
Why can't I respond to
because
people saying that I
it'll just fill up with that.
Don't tell me what to do. I thought this was my show.
Okay, so Super Straight was nuked, but there is LGBS. I can look this up. Oh, I forgot to follow them. LGBS, which is another thing, and they are being really, really careful. This other subreddit's being really, really careful. So every post is being scoured because what happened with the Super Straight subreddit was that a bunch of trolls started posting hate, right? People who wanted this community to get nuked, all they have to do is put hate there and then accuse them of doing the hate towards them. It's totally twisted. I don't know how this is going to scale. I don't know how far we can live with social media without the whole thing collapsing. We are due for a complete renovation of how we interact with each other online because the crazies are winning. Narcissism is winning.
I don't know what's going to happen either. I mean, I just feel I don't know how long we're going to last. Either it's going to fall apart and something new will happen. Are they just going to kick us all off? You know what I mean? Can they just kick everybody off and then what? Why would people want to be on social media if everybody who's interesting is not on social media? Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying, they're obviously not kicking everyone interesting off, but
it's just there's got to be a turn. There's got to be a turn. It's just ridiculous. It's beyond laughable. I mean, they nuked Gender Critical earlier this year.
Is my Wi-Fi doing something?
Was it a year ago? I see you fine.
Oh, anyways. Okay, good. Never mind.
Yeah, we can have fun. We can have fun. Colin writes in the
I
chat.
liked that Super Straight thing because I feel hi Colin, right?
Yes.
I just like that it's, on one hand it's frustrating because it's when women say these things, they don't take us seriously. Although I guess this kid was subject to a bunch of harassment and they were harassing his mom and stuff. But I just it's the straight guys who are really the ones who kind of very easily poke holes into gender identity ideology because they don't buy it and they're not going to do it. You can't force somebody who is a heterosexual man to want to date a male. There's nothing, you can't just tell them they have to, right? They're just no, I'm not going to do that. It's easier to bully women. They're doing that to lesbians, of course, but a straight man isn't going to be oh yeah, if you say so, if you're a woman, let's
actually
do it.
No. You can really pressure straight males. Well, they'll at least say that they'll do that in order to get women. Ultimately, that's what they'll do. Oh yeah, I'm totally down with trans women. You want to sleep with me because I'm down with trans women?
But they won't actually do it. They don't actually buy it.
Well,
Like
yeah, but they'll
maybe
follow the
they'll.
dominant ideology, and there's ways to pressure them into it. I
I've
was on
never
a
spoken to a man in real life. Um, sorry, I got distracted by a troll, but I'm not gonna fall for it.
see good
Like
job.
when you talk to men in real life, they don't say, "Oh yeah, sure, I'd date a trans woman." They're like, "No, no."
Yeah,
So I don't
yeah.
know, maybe men say that on the internet, but I don't even see that happening that often. Like they'll insist that trans women are women, but when it comes down to it, like it's like, okay, well then why aren't you dating trans women?
Okay, this is
Like
this. Why
if they're women.
is there a way to analyze this without necessarily devolving into males just have basic privilege? Is there something else at play where straight men are the final boss in this ideology? Is it purely based on privilege of being a straight male, or is there something about the straight white male that his relationship to desire is just it's unwavering? It's a one way. It's somehow unquestionable. Like why is it that males
Well,
and you can bring in the privilege thing. I'm fine. I just wonder if there's more to it. If we can look at that multivariantly.
I don't like to discuss things in terms of privilege because it's doesn't really have that much meaning. Hi, Jennifer. Um, but I think that it's easier to bully women because women have been socialized to get along and be polite and
Yeah.
not offend and not cause conflict and not cause a stir. And men have not been socialized in that way, which isn't to say like all men are rude or, they cause conflict or whatever, but men are a lot more comfortable having conflict, saying what they really think. Like they're not socialized to be passive in the way that women are. So when women are told, like be nice, like this is the nice thing to do, like don't be mean, don't like insult these people,
Okay.
like
Okay.
don't like
Okay.
don't hurt anyone's feelings, you know
I
what I mean?
wonder. I wonder if there's
So
something
that's
about
why it's
women that
easier to
make them
bully women
sensitive
for
to
this
that
than men.
input. Like what is it about women that make them sensitive to that sort of socialization? I can't say that it's entirely socialization. There's got to be some nature in there that makes women amenable to
Okay.
wanting to be polite. So when you're
Okay,
told to be
but
polite,
either
well,
way,
you're an
sure, fine.
exception. Okay.
That's not sure, fine. There might be some like evolutionary thing there too. But at
Yeah.
the end of the day,
Oh, okay.
that's what I mean is that's why.
Okay.
Like, however we get there, women are more inclined, and I do think most of it's socialization. Sure, there might be others. I tend to think that it's never all one thing or all the other. Like it's
Okay.
all evolution, all socialization. I used to sort of think everything was socialization, but no longer.
Your blank slate
I
was
believe in
broken.
evolution. I really just, my mind was open to alternate viewpoints that weren't exclusively radical feminist ones, and I realized that there was a whole other world out there.
How do you play the peacemaker when there are different ideologies to one that is so radical as radical feminism? Because radical feminism seems to be, and please correct me insofar as that I am wrong, pretty insular and pretty like this is the way. It's pretty like a echo chambery, and everything's an echo chamber. But how do you get that ideology that you internalized and you promulgated as like a proponent, like you made your name in that? How do you get that to work with evolutionary biology? How do you navigate
I'm
that
not a radical
compromise?
feminist, so why are you asking me
Oh,
that?
you're not a radical feminist.
No, I've
Okay.
never identified as a radical feminist. I
Oh,
used to say my feminism is rooted in radical feminism. So like
okay.
my feminism
Yeah. Okay.
came from second wave feminism, from radical feminism. That was my analysis, but I didn't actually identify as a radical feminist. And now I definitely don't identify as a radical feminist. I used to just not care if people identified me as a radical feminist. I would still say, like, I don't personally identify as a radical feminist, but whatever, I'm not insulted if you call me that. But
Okay.
now
Okay.
it's really
Okay.
like it doesn't fit. I mean, I don't even
Okay. Thank
like
you.
going around identifying myself as a feminist anymore because I just don't want to be put in any kind of box or there to be specific
Okay.
expectations on
Okay.
me in terms of what I think,
Yeah.
and my view of the world because it just doesn't fit, and I just
Yeah.
want to be an independent thinker.
Yeah.
Um,
And it sounds like, just to recap and to refine what I put on you, is that you always had an independent relationship with whatever text or ideology that you were drawing from. It was always something that you were drawing from. Radical feminism was something that you were using, but it was you that was using it to discuss issues. It wasn't you being a proponent of it or a carrier of it, something like that.
it just, I mean, it's never felt like it fit in terms of me as an individual or how I lived my life. Um, but yeah,
Could
I
you give an
mean, it,
example of that? Like one or two ways that, like, you didn't want to be a
well, I
radical
mean,
feminist?
there's like, I mean, I don't, I mean, there's superficial things like I wear makeup. Um,
Hmm.
I'm very heterosexual.
Super straight. Super
I
straight. Super
am
straight. She's
pretty
super
straight.
straighty.
I can be like pretty superficial, like, and
Mm.
I don't know. I don't know that that's like the right question. It just never, I
Okay.
don't know that I never felt like the need to have that kind of label. And it just, I mean,
Okay.
what does that mean to be a radical feminist? I mean, at the end of the day, I guess that would be about an analysis, they would say it would be about a political analysis, like a way of looking at the world and analyzing the world.
Yeah.
So it shouldn't be an identity. It should be an analysis, an ideology, a theory. Like those kinds of things shouldn't be,
Hmm.
this is what I am as an individual. It can be, this is how I analyze the world, and my view of what I want the world to become is rooted and shaped by that
Okay.
analysis.
Yeah.
Does that make sense, sort
Yeah.
of?
Yeah. I like that. Can I ask you one more question?
Okay.
What made you that way? Somebody that doesn't want a label. Do you know? Is there like some sort of ancestral or parental nurture that gave you that, or is it kind of in your nature
Well, my
to be that
desire
way?
to not have like a label or not to have like what I consider like a limiting identity,
Hmm.
including like leftist, feminist, socialist, whatever. Like that's more recent. I always called myself a feminist for sure, and I used to identify as a socialist. When I was younger, I identified as a Marxist, um, certainly a leftist. But not wanting to attach myself to a label is more recent. Like that's been
Hmm.
probably just in the past year or so, right? And
Hmm.
that was just because I was really frustrated and angry about getting boxed in because I hated what the left was doing and I didn't like a lot of what feminism was doing. Um, and
Hmm.
I felt like people who identified themselves with those labels, with the leftist label, with the feminist label, were sort of trying to force me into a box. And then, and people start saying things like I see people all the time online arguing about like, oh, Megan's not a real radical feminist. And I'm like, okay, like never said I was. Like she does all these things. Like she sucks up to dudes. Like that like
Yeah.
somebody said I had plastic surgery on Twitter, which I've not had plastic surgery. But also
Really?
like,
Wow.
really, you thought I had plastic
No,
surgery?
no. It's nice to know you're all natural,
Well, yeah, pretty much.
except for
There's
the
a few
methamphetamine.
tweaks here and there, but no plastic surgery. The tweaks have worn off by now, actually, so I'm pretty all natural. But if that makes sense to anybody. Um, but
Hmm.
I was just like, what happens if you identify as a feminist or a radical feminist or a leftist is then people want to kick you out. Or like are
Oh.
you real? Are you pure? Oh, well, if you don't agree with these opinions
Yeah. Yeah.
on this, then you're not a true feminist. So I would just rather be like, okay, fine then. Whatever. Obviously, I've been fighting for women and women's rights for a very long time. My work speaks for itself. Like, if you can call me whatever you want, I guess, but like, I'm just going to keep doing my work and saying what I think, and I could give a fuck about like whether or not I'm attached to this label.
A little bit.
I don't know. I don't. I mean, I'm annoyed at these people.
Oh,
but
yeah.
no,
Okay, that's what I was
if somebody wants to say Meghan's not a feminist, then I'm just like, whatever. Good try. Like, good luck with that. You know what I mean? Like, I started and still run like practically the only feminist website in Canada. Like, I have for almost 10 years. Like, okay. I'm not a feminist. I haven't contributed anything important to the women's movement. You're right. Because I don't agree with you about like whatever.
The best thing about being an internet person is getting accused of being irrelevant by a bunch of nobodies with fake names.
I know, with Facebook accounts. Like, oh, you're an anonymous person on Facebook. Like, you're right. You're in charge of feminism, and you decide who's in and out. Like, tell us about it. Tell us about it. Some anon on Twitter, right? It's like, okay.
I did want to. Oh, there's a thing that I got into a dust up about something else you said. We can talk about that. That was interesting. I wanted you to expand on the point about men kind of leading the charge. Your a statement you said in an earlier video that maybe you can help me recall about Graham, Linehan, Benjamin Boyce, a couple other people. They're leading the charge with this movement. Women did all the work, but then these men speak out, and then they're reaping the benefits. Somebody misquoted you, and I'd like to explore.
I wasn't clear about what I meant, actually. I was like, when I listened back, I was like, oh, I didn't say that properly. Like, I don't really like what I said, because the names that I named, I felt were not the right. Like, I grouped in people that shouldn't have been grouped in together.
Could you explain like what people heard and what you meant? Because I think there's an interesting thought there about the way in which men are championing women's rights and in a positive way, and maybe in a like they're soaking up resources or making their way in the world.
It's just that a lot of men who sort of are in the heterodox category would have been
docs.
Like, what was it? The intellectual dark web, like those people. I don't think we really use that term so much anymore, but those kinds of guys, right?
Yeah.
So those kinds of people were also starting to ask questions about this gender identity thing and to criticize trans activism and stuff. And I felt like, okay, you guys are like blowing up as these like really brave guys. I'm not saying you.
Yeah.
I'm saying this group of people, including Jordan Peterson.
Actually, that's how he broke in. Well, that's how he broke out, I guess. In a way.
And he made millions and millions and millions of dollars. And I'm not saying he shouldn't have.
And he provided a lot of value beyond that.
Totally. Like, and he had been doing a lot of work for a really long time. And people just only heard of him because of this thing. I only heard of him because of this thing, but I went back and watched some of his old lectures and videos, and they're quite interesting, you know? And so it's not really necessarily meant as a criticism of these guys, but at the same, there is a boys club. Like, it's like, you know, like I can't get interviews with guys who all interview each other all the time. Like, you know, I'm not going to name names, but
I'm probably right there with you, not being able to interview them, unless I have.
Well, I'm not going to name names.
Okay.
Anyway,
there's probably extenuating circumstances with the fact that I do interview
and a lot of these guys really blew up.
Yes.
Their channels blew up, their social media blew up, they made a ton of money, and I, you know, lost work. I lost social media. It's very hard for me to do my work because I'm not on Twitter, and I sort of get erased from the whole conversation and get punished over and over and over again, while other people sort of, who didn't say it as early, like started saying it when other people were starting to say, like once other people start to say it, it's easier for you to say it. But, you know, if you're going to be the first one, like I was probably the first one in Canada.
You were
And
there.
then,
Did you not? You testified at the C-16
yeah,
bill, right
yeah,
alongside Jordan Peterson. You were right
which
there.
nobody remembers. They remember him, but not me.
Well, Jordan Peterson's Jordan Peterson. He's an anomaly. He's a
Yeah, but
complete anomaly.
sure. Like, but so
You could
I
probably
just
interview
felt
his
like
daughter. Anyways, let's
is
let's
that
not go down that road.
interesting?
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. I haven't followed her very closely, to be honest, so I
I'm
shouldn't. I
just saying.
don't
Yeah,
know.
I don't want to derail your point, but that is a very. I think that's a very valid point. That you have laid a lot of the groundwork. You were first on the line. You were the first one on the chopping block of JY, and then Blair White comes
Yeah.
along and makes that story really, really big, which was good for my channel because I had done a lot of work 6 months before on that story, and then Blair White comes through. And that's kind of the way it is with media and attention.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
You
But
lay the groundwork, and
I
then
sort of was like, when I got kicked off Twitter, a lot of men on Twitter said and are now saying basically the same thing that I'm saying, and they're not getting kicked off. They're blowing up and getting like, oh, like, this is amazing that they're saying this. It's so true. And it's like, yeah, well,
okay, there's
so
the question of how certain people. I want to be able to integrate your insight in the way that men are treated as opposed to women are treated. I need to separate how people say things from what they say, right? And I've noticed, for anybody out there who doesn't want to get banned on Twitter, 90% of the people who get banned on Twitter get banned because of a reply to somebody else. So don't ever enter into an argument with another person unless you're willing to play the correct, proper language games. If you can violate pronouns all you want, just not inside of a reply. You can't reply directly because that's targeted hate speech. I've noticed that pattern. So when I make those statements, which I'm doing less and less and less, because I don't think going on the warpath with, okay, sometimes I have to call it out. For some reason, screwing around with children's bodies really ticks me off. Like I get kind of in this uncontrollable rage, and then I scream about it on Twitter. That's one of the very few things where I kind of lose my cool. But for most part, I have to be witty, I have to be cool. But there is a grain of truth. There's probably more than a grain. That's okay. And we can do a drink refill when you like.
I'm actually drinking water, but I have my Ricea here in case I need it. But I also, as I mentioned, had kind of it's Ricea. I don't like tequila.
I don't know.
Ricea is like Mexican moonshine.
Oh,
it's very good. You should all try it.
Okay,
it's better than mezcal even.
A corn liquor? Do you know?
Agave? Is that how you say that word?
Did your cup magically refill? Is this like it's so sweaty in Mexico that you just put your cup down and you swirl it around and it's filled back up?
No. When I do YouTube videos, I bring 2 glasses of water because I drank a lot of water during these chats. And I keep the glasses the same, so it appears as though I'm just drinking 1 glass of water.
I'm sorry to point out your magic trick.
Okay, wait. What were we talking about?
I don't know. I did want to clear up the fact when I did my super straight video, I kind of called out GC or gender critical radical feminists. I called them out because I saw some behavior about now the straight men are going to do all the work for us, and I just made a call that it could be useful for certain strains or certain feminist activists, certain activists that are female that are involved in this discussion, to put aside the male bashing rhetoric, to just put that aside and let the men do the work for them. To really egg on the men in the direction and kind of channel the male energy. I think that it's overlooked that the amount of power that women have over directing men. Now, women have to stand back and they have to inspire the man. But once a man gets an idea, he'll take it. He'll go. And there's
I don't know what you're talking about.
There's an underlooked power for women to control men. No, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You know exactly what I'm talking about. See, this is every time you tell this to a woman, they're like, "Oh no, that doesn't happen. We don't do that."
Are you talking about
I don't know
like
what you're
sex
talking about.
power? Like, because that all men want to fuck women, so they're just
No,
gonna
no,
agree
no, no, no. I think
to sex with them?
that men are particularly keen on being seen as good in women. They are particularly vulnerable to being shamed by women. And when they do right, when they are acting in a virtuous manner, the recognition of that from women is very, very powerful. So if you just lean back on saying that men blah this, men this and that, and cheer them on, they will take the ball through the finish line. So that was just my general critique
No,
on
I've not
what you're.
had that experience at all.
You've never had that experience.
I think that it goes both ways just as much as anything, or like I feel like I've learned a lot from men and changed my ideas about politics and ideology in the world.
Yeah.
So I feel like I've taken the ball and run with it from things that men have said
Yeah.
also. So
Yeah.
I don't think
Okay.
that it's
Okay.
like, do you know what I
Okay.
mean?
So I think we're having a miscommunication here. I'd like to clear it up
Okay.
if we have the time. But I think with regards to this issue about super straight, a straight white male was the one who initiated that. And that caused a cascade of also super gay and super lesbian, which is really interesting because this idea of being attracted to somebody based on their sex is on men,
Right.
or for probably good reasons. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I'm just saying lean back on that because men actually do
It's
want the recognition of women. That is a
it's
huge
not
power.
necessary. Like I'm not saying radical feminists don't look down on men, but what's happening here, what you're talking about, I don't think is radical feminists looking down on men. I think that it's that a lot of radical feminists have like a knee-jerk analysis of everything, which is patriarchy, misogyny, male dominance, and that's just not always the case. It's not applicable in every situation. It's
Well, and
annoying. It's annoying when
okay.
I'm having a conversation with women about some radical feminists about
Okay.
the gender identity thing, trans, and the response is like, oh well, it's just patriarchy, it's just misogyny, and there is so much misogyny in it, but it's not just
Yeah.
like there's a lot of different
Yeah.
stuff going on, and just
Yeah.
saying, oh, it's patriarchy, it's patriarchy, it's patriarchy. It's like
Yeah.
you're not really thinking this through if that's what you're saying, because that's
Okay.
not a full analysis.
Yeah. 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 So I was just talking about the behavior of laying off the misandry. If it's possible to conceive of women disliking men, lay off the misandry and actually urge the men forward because they will actually push this all the way. I think the urge of straight males to establish order can be harnessed by women.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, that's fine. We'll go to a question if anybody asked a question.
I thought we were going to talk about my bruises.
Oh, we're going to talk about your boogas. I'm sorry, your bruises. Sorry, I had to
Wow.
bring it. I had to make it mammalian for a moment.
I'm joking. We can talk about whatever you want to talk about. I don't know how to make this show interesting.
You are interesting in and of yourself. Do you see
Thank
any
you.
questions streaming by?
Do you guys have any questions? Does Megan know Spanish? I started taking Spanish lessons last week because I was getting so frustrated. Like I love Spanish. And
You
I
were
get
there
so
for how many months?
I've only been here for like a month and a half. I was trying to learn,
okay.
but I just thought more I could learn through osmosis.
Yeah.
So and I would try to okay, so if I'm messaging with like a Spanish guy, I'll try to message him in Spanish. Like I'll look it up and and they all are like, oh, I'll help you learn Spanish. I'm like, okay, great. Just talk to me in Spanish. And and I also was just, if I go out to a restaurant or something or whatever, I try to, I say, hola, ¿cómo está? Muy bien, una más, una más. What else do I know? Not very much. but I was trying, and I was listening to like a Spanish language podcast, and it just wasn't working. Like it just wasn't sticking. So I was like, okay, I need to start taking Spanish classes. And also, I'm so hopeful that I can just learn Spanish through osmosis, because I get really frustrated. Like, I get frustrated when other people are having a conversation in Spanish and I can't understand what they're talking about, because I'm like, I want to participate. And yeah, I just think it's a really beautiful language. Like, I genuinely really like it. Like, I like how it sounds. Like, I like speaking it. So I am trying, and I'll continue to try. And I mean, it's harder than it seems. I feel like when people, like if I make people just speak to me in Spanish, I can sort of like I can kind of understand what they're saying. Like I can sort of get the gist of it. And I sort of started realizing recently that, like I've always never understood how people date somebody who doesn't speak the same language as them. Like, I'm like, how do you even get along with or have a real conversation with somebody who's like ESL, somebody who's like, if you speak English and they are, they speak a little bit of English, but not much. But, a lot of communication, everybody here speaks some English. Most people that I'm around speak English. So I don't, like we can have a conversation pretty easily. But also, a lot of communication is nonverbal, right? Like, there's a lot of communication that can happen even if you don't know all the same words, right? Humans, see? I'm getting all sorts of information. So, yeah. But anyway, I'm trying to learn Spanish. I'm trying to learn how to ride a motorbike. I cannot. It's much harder than I thought it would be. I can't. I'm so scared. Like, I've tried. I'm just
They're
scared.
very strong. Like, they're very powerful.
Big and heavy, and they're so powerful.
Yeah.
And I just thought, I'm just so scared that I'm just going to like topple over or just like drive off into something. Yeah. So I've tried twice now. I really haven't gotten very far. I get freaked out and feel like pathetic.
Can you tell me about your fight, the fight story?
I don't know what happened.
Oh, you don't remember?
Some woman attacked me in the bar.
Okay. Just out of the blue. Out of the blue. Well,
okay. Knowing me, I was probably talking some shit. I thought like, but I wasn't talking shit to her. I wasn't like confronting her, like, but she was wasted and she had this big fern and she was like hitting everyone with her fern, and I was like, oh my God, dude, like gringos, you know what I mean? Like, I don't even know, like she's this blonde girl.
Who walks around with a fern? They're not even proper plants. They just have spores.
What?
They're like a lower form of plant life.
It was just she had this big fern and she was drunk and she just kept like smacking people with their fern, and I was like, ugh, this chick is so annoying. So I don't know. I mean, I was obviously drinking a lot. I think.
Wait, did you have a companion, like a dog?
Yeah, I was with my friends. Oh.
Okay, so she has a fern, you have friends.
Okay, I see what you mean.
Did you have an object?
Not as quick as you think I am, Benjamin.
No, I don't think you're quick at all.
Okay, anyway, so I was probably talking shit, but, I wasn't doing anything. So I'm standing, like, at the other end of the room talking to my friend, and all of a sudden, this woman from across the room, so I think there might have been something else going on, like, I don't know. There was somebody said something about like, oh, I think so and so was like flirting with her and then flirting with you, and I was like, what? I don't know. I have no idea. But so she like attacked me from across the room, like dragged me down to the ground.
Wait, so she ran across the room. You saw you just see this bush.
She was over there.
And you see this bush like approaching you. And you don't know what's happening. She picks you up by the hair? She drags you out? What's going on?
It all happened so quickly. I was like so confused. And like my friend like separated her and this other guy, these two guys were like, what the fuck is, and like took her away and kept her away from me. And I was like, And nobody knew what was going on. Everyone was like, what is that? Like, what's going on? Like, nobody saw any kind of reason or altercation or anything. When she was wasted, so she was probably, I don't know, confused or who knows, But also I should take some of the blame in, like, knowing myself. When I'm at the bar, I talk shit. I often think I'm being much more subtle than I actually am. And I'm not subtle. And so anyway, I have,
Are you
like,
going to show us
my
your knee?
No, it's pretty gross. I don't
Oh,
know.
is it? Yeah, let's see the scab. Let's do it.
Well, I have a...
Let's get a little gore on this podcast. Oh, no.
You can't really see.
It's really like, pink. Yeah, I see it. It's in the frame.
And it's, like, super bruised and puffy. And I have, like, a big bruise. You can't see on this knee. And I had a big bruise on my head. You can see, like...
Oh, yeah, I see that, yeah.
It was here.
Wait, from what? She threw you down on the ground?
I don't know.
You can't remember.
I was just like, oh my... Like, I was like, I knew my knee was hurt. Like, we left and went to another bar, and I was, like, icing my knee.
You keep on going.
I don't want to not have fun just because this lady is being a psycho. I'm very committed to fun.
Yes.
And and I was also like, we were all trying to figure out. I was like, what? Like, what happened? But then in the next few days, more bruises started to emerge. Like,
yeah. That's the thing. That's the thing about the redhead is that you guys, like, you bruise so easily, but it's like a time release kind of action because of the pallor of your skin.
Yeah.
How supple you are. Yeah.
Getting worse. Yes, yeah. Supple. Exactly. So then I sent Benjamin, and now I'm speaking to the audience, so a bunch of photos.
In the middle of the night, she starts sending me all these photos.
Like 4 a.m. or something. Like, what time
of her
was
body.
It? I was, but gross parts of my body, like, not sexy shots. Like, it's like, look at how gross my knee.
Let's be honest. Who are you to determine what is and what isn't sexy part of your body?
Right.
I mean,
and then I started acting creepy, and it's like, I
did not act creepy. There was a really beautiful. I should bring it. It was actually a accidental renaissance. It was actually a beautiful photo you sent me, and you didn't intend to. You're just showing off all your...
They were all gross. And I, like, after I sent them, I was like, oh, I probably shouldn't have sent all these gross photos. Are you looking for the photo that you like?
It's a really beautiful photo.
I didn't think any of them were beautiful. I didn't even try to make them look beautiful.
No, this is the thing. It was the mirror. It was the mirror behind you caught this, like, renaissance. Let me see if I can put it on the screen. It's
show everyone my bruised photos.
How do I do it?
And I think, what had I done that night? Is that the night that I came back from trying to learn how to ride a motorbike at 4 a.m.?
No, your motorbike. Here we go. Your motorbike things that's a different story. Here, let's see if we can do this. Oh, there we go. And then downloads. Let's see if this works.
Anyway, if anybody has any learning to ride a motorcycle tip, I'd like to hear them because I'm too scared. I think you need to be more confident. I think you just need to go for it, and I don't have the confidence. I'm too scared. And you would think that being drunk at 4 a.m. would help, but it doesn't help.
Do you see it do you see it? I'm showing the audience this photo, and I cropped it. It was just this really lovely kind of Raphaelite pose you were making, showing off your bruises. I thought it was.
I'll look at it later. I can't. I'm not actually looking at the live stream.
Right. Okay, that's. So enough. I don't know how to. Okay, let's put that down. No.
I just want everyone to know that I never try to look sexy. Like, I never send photos or post photos that are trying to look sexy.
No, I didn't take them sexy either. It was a very platonic. I was feeling bad for you. I was trying to talk you through, like, some sort of medical procedure. You're like, which vein do I cut? How do I enter into this? And I'm like, just take it easy, get some Novocaine and some ice. And I walked you through some triage. We did some late night WhatsApp triage. It was a nice friendship moment that we had.
Oh man. Anyway, I'm having a
How
lot of
often do you have
fun.
adventures like that? I hope not too often, but is it like once a week, you
Probably
think?
more than once a week.
Oh, wow.
It's pretty fun here. It's like
Yeah.
a major party town. Like it's pretty dangerous. I mean dangerous if you have FOMO, which I do. And you
Okay, we have
constantly feel like you're missing out on fun and you're like, "Ah, I can't go home. Everyone is having fun without me."
yeah, yeah, I get you. That's the problem with Clubhouse. Can I read you a question, a super chat from
Yes.
Dexter Beard?
Okay.
He says, Megan, do you really not understand that men built civilization for the safety and approval of women?
No.
Plus power, that's how you get the best mates. Okay. Megan,
Oh, okay.
do you really not understand that men built civilization for the safety of and approval of women? My point's the
No.
approval of women.
I don't
Plus
think that's
power,
true.
that's how you get the best mates. If you provide and you can be approved, I mean, if you're a male, you're acting under a very strong pressure to have the approval of women. I think that is very overlooked because of the negative aspects of masculinity. But wise women actually tap into that approval. Women
Um,
and men will go to extreme lengths. They will build dams, amphitheaters, roads, pipes, even thatched roofs for the approval of women. If they can show women that they will give women's offspring safety and abundance, prosperity, that is a very motivating factor within the psychology of males.
okay. Sorry, I'm just responding to somebody in the live chat that I need to defend
Yeah, I
myself
see that. It's
against.
cheesy and embarrassing.
Somebody
Don't.
said, "Come on, you have your vanities." And I said, "Yeah, of course. I'm totally superficial and vain. Like I want to look pretty, but I said I don't send sexy photos because that's embarrassing and lame and pathetic."
Okay, yeah. Well, okay, so you don't send photos for the express purpose of receiving sexual attention, but you don't mind if somebody finds you sexy in this, bruised state at a 4 a.m. Post triage moment.
No, it's fine, I guess.
Okay, yeah. Okay. You're not gonna shame a man for being attracted to you, but you're not
Oh
going
my
to go out of
God,
your way to
no. That's
pornography
ridiculous.
yourself.
That's
Okay.
that's the worst thing about actually no, it's not. There's so many worse things. I was gonna say that's the worst thing about 20-year-olds is that they pretend that they hate male attention. Like, oh really? Like, why aren't you wearing any clothes then? Like, why do you constantly post like super airbrushed photos of your ass on Instagram? Don't look at me. Like,
Okay. So you can be honest about women seeking male attention, but I think that you haven't reckoned with the fact that female attention is a huge driving factor for the ambition of men
okay, but I
that
don't
women
think that
can harness.
civilization was built for the safety and what was the other thing? Approval of men or women.
Well,
I think that their
iteratively.
civilization.
If a man can prove that he can, if a man can prove that he can improve on the current system, then that will garner the approval and the reward of women or of a woman, let's say. And over time, that layers and layers and layers. You have all these innovations that stack up into what we call civilization that's driven by men seeking the approval of women and other men. I think I don't want to collapse it all down, but I think that it's overlooked just how powerful women are.
No, I'm not getting it. Blues in the blood. I don't get
Okay.
it because I'm like war, money, power,
It,
safety for like the community or the city.
okay, that's a good point.
Like
Okay,
it's not. It doesn't seem. There doesn't seem to be a direct link to that. The desire for female approval, like that men built civilization purely for women's safety and approval, doesn't make sense to me.
not
But maybe
purely,
I'm missing something.
not purely, but you don't think that you can direct men toward proving themselves for you. Do not the
Sure, I can if they're trying to have sex with me,
it's purely
but
about
that doesn't
sex.
last very long.
Well,
That's like a temporary thing. Like once, if they're not trying to, then I don't feel there's any more motivation for them to try to gain my approval than a man's. And that particular kind of trying lasts until they have you, and then they don't feel like they need to prove themselves to you anymore.
Okay. Well, I think that
Which is fine, I guess, but
Oh no. I think that the liberal feminist in you is flipping that question on its head, because you don't see yourself in a long-term relationship with a man. You don't see
what? I don't.
I'm sorry, I phrased that wrong. I think that women, the approval of women comes with the cost of children, and then the and then with extracted from the question of family. Like there's the motivation of sex, but once sex leads to children, that motivation, a man's motivation, shifts, but he still has to provide, and the best way to provide for your family is to improve on the current system, because that gives you an advantage over everything else, which then layers on.
So this only works for men who are with women who have their children. It doesn't work for all women.
I don't think it works within a societal structure that doesn't expect men and women to settle down. Outside of settling down, there's just that immediate.
I aim to settle down. I just don't want to have children, because children ruin fun.
Oh, but children are fun.
Would I be in Mexico learning to ride a motorcycle at 4 a.m. if I had children? No, I would not.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. All right.
So, I mean, so anyway, you've just disproved this theory, because it's not like for women. It's like
for the consequences of wanting a woman. It leads into something deeper. It leads in something more long-lasting.
Men only want women for children. Men also want women because of sex and because they like women. Yeah. Like, things are just more complicated than this. You guys are oversimplifying, I think.
Can you read
Men
Spanish?
Genuinely like women and women's company.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they're not women who are trying to have their children.
Or have sex with them.
But also, I mean, there's lots of men who are terrible fathers and abandon their children, abandon their wives, and are lazy and shitty and don't provide at all. So then
are we talking about Vancouver men again? Are we going back to the Vancouver man discussion?
Oh, definitely. But I'm sure they're in other parts of the world also.
Can I read a couple super chats?
I mean, I'm not saying that about men that I know, because I don't have kids, but I have friends with kids who have partners who are like,
there's a lot of disappointing humans. For better or for worse, there's a lot of disappointing. En que se par si se un preso e un marido, ambos tienen esposas. In what way are a prisoner and a husband alike? Both have wives. Espousas. There's a wife and handcuff are the same word in Spanish.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that true?
Apparently.
What's the word for wife in Spanish?
Esposas.
That's hilarious.
Esposas. I mean, you're espoused to something, you're chained to something.
Anybody who lives where I'm living right now and is married is a total moron. Like, there's no way that a person could stay married in this town. This is like the sluttiest town I've ever lived in. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I've only ever lived in Vancouver.
Hence the fun.
Like, people, there's no way if you were married that you wouldn't cheat. Unless you, like, didn't go out ever, I guess. But if I found a man here, I would make him leave with me. Okay. I think. Like, I don't know if I could.
I can read between your lines, Meghan. I can read between your lines. Can I read another super chat?
We're all just here to have fun.
Yeah, we're having fun.
Yes.
Men are vain as well. Of course, men are vain as well. That is our makeup. Safety of family and community is a big deal as well. Dexter Beard. I think we're all running on very similar software. There's just different outcomes for
you,
either
probably
of us.
not for me, or I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, some men are vain.
Do you like vain men?
I don't think.
What's the best way for a man to be vain?
I don't like vain men. I guess, like, maybe around clothing. Like, I mean, I think men should work out, but not to an excess. Okay. Like, I like a man who's, like, built, but not crazy. Like I'm not into guys who look like they work out all the time.
Well, there's a
But
whole
you
culture
want a
to
man to
that
be
as well.
strong.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
You're pretty
like
tall for
I
a
want
dame,
them
aren't
to
you?
wear clothes that I like.
Yeah.
I'm what?
You're like 5'7", 5'8". You're not a short
I
woman.
think I'm 5'8.5", so
Oh
I need
yeah,
a tall
yeah.
man.
Oh yeah. Okay. So you need a
Yeah.
6'1", 6'3".
Over
Dude.
6 foot for sure. Like
Oh
6 foot
wow.
is like the minimum, and that's not really ideal. More
Okay.
like 6'3"
Yeah.
plus.
So you can wear heels on occasion.
I guess, but more just so that I just like tall men. Um,
Well,
Wait, was this like a trap to be like, oh, I guess we can't date? I don't know how tall you are.
No.
I know you're taller than
I'm
me.
too short for you. That's for sure. I'm barely. No, we don't
Oh,
need to make. No,
I'm
we're not. We're
sorry.
not having
I'm
that
not saying
conversation.
no, never. I'm saying that, no, not no, never. I've hooked up with guys who are not tall in Mexico.
What happens when you're tired of
I don't
having
think men
fun?
are super tall here. I don't think I'm ever going to get tired of having fun. I've spent my entire life having fun, and I've never gotten tired of it. I
How do
was
you
forced not to be allowed to have fun because of COVID.
How do you have fun with feminism? How do you have fun at your work, at your job, at generating content?
Don't.
You don't have fun writing articles. You don't have
Oh,
fun doing interviews.
well, no, I do. But
How
that's,
do you
you
make
said,
that
how do
fun?
you have fun with feminism?
Well, you write
I
about
love writing
feminism.
satire. That's why I make
Okay.
jokes. I like satire. I don't
Okay.
only write about feminism. I write about other things too. I mean, mostly I don't have enough time to write these days, which sucks because there's lots of stuff that I do want to write, but I just don't have time. But I feel like I've been more focused on the YouTube stuff and the podcast stuff, which I really enjoy just because obviously I find learning things and conversations and talking to people very interesting.
Yeah.
So I really enjoy doing that stuff. And I like writing a lot. But my favorite I love writing satire. So like I like to be sarcastic. So that's my most fun form of writing is making jokes or whatever.
You're a party girl, but you're intelligent.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I look like I'm in my 20s, according to everyone here. So.
I probably look like I'm 32 right now. I can do some shaving. I've been.
I don't know if I know how old you are, actually.
I'll
But
be
I guess
45 in July.
yeah,
I
you
should
don't
check
look
my blood
45.
pressure. Should I check
I
my
would
blood
assume
pressure?
that you're.
Do you mind?
I guess I would assume that you're around the same age as me, or maybe a little bit younger.
I'm a little bit older than you. You're born in what, 82
You're
or
old.
something?
No, I'm 79.
Yeah, you're my sister's age. Well, one of my sisters. Gen X, baby. Gen X. So I'm gonna do what? Yeah, you're
I
Gen
don't think
X.
I'm Gen X.
Yeah, you're
Megan
Gen X.
needs some healing. I am healed, thank you very much.
I'm gonna check my blood pressure now. See how Megan's treated me. I'm on like stage 2 critical.
Retarded. What a surprise, an unhappy feminist. Like, yeah, I seem really unhappy.
Okay. I'm gonna turn on my machine. Megan, you talk to the audience while I check my blood pressure.
Okay. You guys, I don't really know what I should talk about. So maybe if somebody wants to ask me a question, I'm watching the live chat. I don't feel like I've never felt like I'm Gen X. I've always felt like Gen X was older than me. I feel
You're
like
very
I'm
Gen
not
X.
anything. Like I'm not a millennial, but
You're very
I'm
Gen X.
Gen X. Like Gen X was like people who were like in college and university when I was like 12 and 13.
Gen X is
Like,
pretty broad.
I know that like maybe technically, but it doesn't feel that way. I don't identify with Gen X.
Okay,
How do I do
I was
my
better
hair?
than earlier.
Okay, there's an important question in the comments. How do I do my hair? I wet it, and then I put like this curl stuff. It's Aveda Be Curly. It smells good too. And then I let it dry. I don't really wash it very often. I think I've started to wash it like once every week and a half or 2 weeks.
I love
but
your hair, I have to say. Love it.
Thank you. It doesn't work in Vancouver though. Like it only works it works in Vancouver in the summer or it works in Mexico like cuz it has to dry naturally otherwise it doesn't work and if it doesn't have the right heat like it doesn't do this stuff. So I've never really been able to go with this natural look in Vancouver. But here it's so humid that I couldn't even keep it straight if I wanted to. It would just keep getting like poofy and frizzy and wavy. So you just have to kind of let it go and luckily letting it go worked well. It's definitely less time consuming than all the blow drying and
I
straightening
love
I
it.
had to
It's
do
great.
before.
It's iconic. It's very attractive. I have to say,
Well, thank you.
it's the most attractive
I
thing
think
about you. It makes my heart go boom, 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 boom. It's like, it's so beautiful. It's just this cascade. Don't take that personally at all. It's just like your hair is very attractive.
why would I not take that
Well, just
personally?
don't take it personally because I don't mean it personally. It's just, it's stunning. It's really, it's just
Oh,
stunning.
okay. You're like, don't, I'm not giving you a compliment, Megan. I'm just giving your hair a compliment.
Exactly. I don't want you to like lord that over me.
Oh my God, as if I would. I mean, and it works, I think, like, okay, so there's so many hot people here. It's like overwhelming. Like, there's beautiful women everywhere. There's like really good-looking men everywhere. Um, but I'm a redhead. So
What does that mean to
I
you?
have
You
a
guys are
leg
like,
up.
you guys are
I don't know if
actually a
that means anything, but
minority.
I think Mexican guys are really into it because
Well, no,
people, I'm like,
you're 0.5% of the population. You guys are more rare than trans people. That's how rare you are. Redheads are like one of the world's most minorities of minorities. You get
I
freckly
don't.
sometimes, but then you cover up. How freckly are you? Are you a freckly? Or
I
semi
used
freckly?
to get a lot of freckles when I was a kid, but I wear sunscreen on my face all the
Okay.
time.
No.
So, because I don't want to get wrinkly.
Yeah. Freckles are fun.
So I have wear sunscreen every day, 300. I know I really like freckles. Wish I could have
Yeah.
them, but I can't. I
Yeah.
don't want to
You're like,
take
well, do
my
I want to
face.
sag or do I want to like sparkle? I'd rather
Trying to
just like be
preserve
smooth.
myself for as long as possible so I can keep
Yeah.
hooking up with 20-year-olds.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Coogan with Meghan Murphy.
That's stupid.
What's the most important issue right now, you think, coming up? What should we be focused on politically? Let's get boring and get politically. What's the thing that we need to be paying attention to? And then we can go back to having fun.
I think that I genuinely I feel really really concerned about what's happening with COVID and the direction that that's going to take us and the fact that people are willingly going along with all of these restrictions, that people are policing one another, policing their neighbors, turning into like cops essentially, that they're willingly giving up their civil liberties, that they're wanting people to get, arrested because they don't wear a mask. Like, I find all that stuff super terrifying. And I think I think we're fucked. I'm not joking. I reread 1984 when I got here. So, like, I think I finished reading it a few weeks ago or something like that. And I was like, oh my God, this is literally what Canadians are begging for.
Yeah.
Begging. Trudeau's responding to public pressure. It's not just Trudeau who's like, cancel all flights to Mexico. Like, let's get this quarantine hotel going. Because none of that stuff makes any sense. The COVID isn't being spread primarily through air travel. This hotel quarantine thing is completely unnecessary. It's ridiculous. It should be illegal. But it's because the public is begging him to do it. And they want to punish people. I'm seeing posts on Facebook from these people saying, like, complaining about snowbirds. Like, how dare these seniors go to Florida? And I'm like, they're going to die. Let them live their lives. Like, this is sick. This is sick. These people work their whole lives so that they could retire and enjoy themselves with their partner before one of them dies. And you're like, no, stay in your house. Like, don't live your life. Like, it's cruel and it's disgusting. And the fact that people are so hateful and are so, they don't value joy. They don't value life. People don't know what's important in life. If you think you can live a virtual life, you can live online. You've like lost the plot. Like
Hmm.
the whole point of life is to be with people, to interact with people, to make eye contact, to talk, to make out, to touch, like to hug. This is we can't communicate with each other effectively
Okay.
online, period. And it's not good for your mental health. It's not good for your brain. It's not good for your body. Like get out in the world. Like these people who are enjoying the lockdown. I'm like, and then wanting to impose that on everyone else. And I think I don't know, maybe like they're depressed to begin with, they have anxiety to begin with, maybe they identify as introverts or whatever, and it's like you're miserable, so everyone else should be miserable. I refuse to be miserable. No, I'm living my life for as long as I can, no matter what, and anybody who tells me not to can fuck off. I'm not going to suffer. I might die tomorrow on a motorbike.
Mm.
Like, I'm living my life. That's my biggest concern right now.
Yeah, I wonder to what extent the boomers are taking it
And
out.
these people, these Canadians, these privileged middle class people with white collar jobs working online who don't give a shit that all these businesses are being destroyed, that lives are being destroyed, that people are unemployed, that people are miserable and depressed, that people are losing their rights and liberties. They are so they have no idea what's going on in the rest. Everybody here is operating as normal. Nobody here gives a shit about COVID. We're all in the bar. We're all hooking up. Like, we're all, nobody's wearing a mask. Like, and there's a bunch of tourists here walking down the beach in a mask, like Americans, like white, rich Americans. But people here are just like living their lives and it's fine. And these people are still cowering in their apartments in Canada, not touching people, not seeing their families, not letting their kids go to school. Like they're completely out of touch. Completely. Like live your life. Everyone else is living, like, what are you doing? You're wasting your life and you're destroying other people's lives. It's sick. This is what I think.
Are you into
No, I
ginger
don't find
men?
ginger men hot. I just saw that question too. No. Yeah. I'm trying to see if there's anything else.
Yeah, people are really driven by fear right now.
Yeah, and it's scary. Like it's like people trying to.
This is really sad. Let me read this to you. I work in Toronto. This is Mike Krapinski. Kaprinsky. I work in Toronto at the kids' hospital. Mental health admissions have been surging since last summer. Things are at least as bad for adults. Loneliness was a huge issue before COVID, just worse now. I think people are okay with us railing against historical oppression. They're okay with us railing against people who want to open up their businesses. They're okay with all these things, but they overlook loneliness. They overlook opioid addiction, which is surging as well. There's a lot of things that are being overlooked because they're, for whatever reason, the cultural currents prize saving people from this disease and from other ills, and then overlooking the downstream costs of this.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. It's like there's all of a sudden there's only one issue.
Yeah.
And nothing else matters.
Well,
Like,
and one read on the issue, or one read on issues too, which is very frustrating.
And most people in the world are not going to be badly affected by COVID. I mean, it's just not that serious for most people. Most people recover, right? Most people, it's just you're sick for a bit.
There's some like brain damage, I think. I was surfing around. You get like there's some like brain damage or something like that. Yeah, I know. Please, you don't need a brain. I mean, you're just gonna.
I don't believe that there's like how many people have gotten brain damage from COVID.
I just it was a passing thought that I saw.
So wait, what was I? Were we going to say something else?
That was your
I don't
political
know.
statement for the evening. That was what
Right.
you had to say.
I mean, it's like, I just think people just don't seem to value life, which is strange because they're the people who are claiming to save lives and demanding we all shut down our lives and everyone else's lives. There's just the amount of businesses that have gone under. I mean, that destroys people's lives. These are things that people have worked for their entire lives and
Yeah.
gone. And just the like family and joy and friends and happiness, and that's what life is. Like, don't claim to be interested in protecting life when you are destroying life and you don't understand what's important about life.
There's a trade-off. There's a trade-off. I think there's an extreme societal shift towards one decision or one valuation of what life is to protect a certain portion of the population from death is worth suppressing life for the rest of people. The problem is that people overlook that everybody else is paying the cost for this, and to what degree are we paying the cost for this? I'm
Well, and
watching.
protect people in care homes, protect 90-year-olds in care homes as much as you can. I mean, the unfortunate truth is that if you're in a care home, you're there to die. And that doesn't mean that I want them to die, but or that they should. And if it's my family, like, I care about older people, but it doesn't make sense to me to make the entire world or the vast majority of the world suffer and destroy economies and whatnot, to get people another year in a care home or whatever. I mean, people in care homes die of pneumonia and the flu all the time also, right? It's just the sad reality of getting old. Somebody in the comments said Vancouver is really open. Like, it's not. Everything shuts down at 10. You're not allowed to interact with other people. You're not allowed to have people in your home. You're not allowed to leave. You're not allowed to come back. Vancouver's not really open. Yeah, you can go to a restaurant with one person in your household and sit in like a plastic bubble. Fuck that.
Megan's into nightlife. And
Yes,
nightlife
I
is
am
not
into
into Vancouver.
But I really like meeting people. It's not just partying. Like, I like to party, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I really like talking to people. I really like meeting people. I like making new friends. I really like doing events. Like, doing in-person events is very galvanizing for people. It's like it inspires people. It leads women to organize and take action. It's really important. Things like, I'm not religious, I don't go to church, but that's really meaningful and important to lots of people. Things like choir, like singing, like bands, music, like, it's not, there's a lot. These are sports.
Are you going to get the vaccine?
Parties, celebrations. I mean, if I have to, I will, but I don't really see the point. Like, it's like, I'm not worried about COVID. You know what I mean? Like, as far as I understand, the vaccine lessens symptoms. So I'm just not worried. I'm not worried for myself, like, I kind of think I already had it in March. I don't really see how I couldn't have gotten it, but like, maybe I haven't had it. I would be quite shocked. But I'm a healthy person. Like, I'm not worried about it.
You swim every day. Or last time we talked about swimming. You can't swim in Mexico without getting worms. Yeah. Okay.
Well, the beach, the ocean here, like, it's a surf. Like I said, it's a surf town, so it's very wavy. So it's like hard to swim here. Like, it's not relaxing. Like, you're fighting to not swallow a ton of water constantly. And there's no length pool. Like, I swim laps, right? So, but I'm working with a boxing trainer here like 3 days a week. So that's
you're continuing to be a pugilist.
Yeah.
Just like you are on the internet.
Yeah, it's awesome. He's really good. He's like my favorite trainer ever. I really like him a lot, and I'm learning a lot. And someday I'll be able to win the bar fight
against the fern lady. You got owned by a fern lady.
I don't want to get in a bar fight. That's not classy. I'm not gonna, honestly, if somebody attacked me in the bar and
hold on.
Back,
That's your line on what classy is?
It's not classy. I don't want to have beef with bar owners. Bar owners don't like it when you fight in the bar.
Oh, okay,
I
okay,
like
okay.
those guys. They're my
Okay.
friends.
Yeah, yeah,
Not
yeah.
gonna,
Okay, yeah.
it's
Yeah,
not
no, I
classy.
understand that.
And
Yeah,
it's
okay.
like that's major drama. Like this is like a small town. Like I don't,
Drama.
I don't want to be known as the girl like got
The
in a
fern
bar
lady.
fight or punched somebody at the bar. Like I just have to. I think if somebody attacks you at the bar, you just have to let them kind of make a fool of themselves. Like people, pull them. It's like, oh, she's the crazy person. I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything. Even though maybe I did, but you know what I mean.
Who knows? I mean, you can't remember. Nobody else could remember either because it was so
Nobody
loud.
knows. Nobody has
Everybody's
any
just like,
idea. I've
what?
asked lots of people.
Oh,
Nobody
really? Okay,
knows.
you try to post
I asked
investigate.
the
Like,
bar
what did
owners,
I
and they
do?
it's like, what
Maybe you
happened?
wait. Maybe this is like a Fight Club moment, and you were the fern girl, and you didn't realize it until like a sudden twist of fate that you were the one who beat yourself up that night. And
No, that's not
the
that.
fern was your spirit animal. You always thought you had like a butterfly or
I
a
would never
fox.
attacked somebody in a bar and dragged them to the ground.
Yeah,
I
but
would
have
never
you not
do that.
attacked yourself in a bar?
No, shut.
Okay. Oh, okay. You can't go there. Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
No.
That's fine.
I don't even really understand what you're talking about.
Okay, of
But
course. Yeah, that's a great way to get out of that question. Just to say that you don't understand.
I
Are
really
you
don't understand what you're talking about.
are you not your own worst fern enemy? Are you not the one who stalks yourself?
What?
What?
Explain what you
No.
mean. I don't understand what you're talking
Okay,
about.
I'm
You have to
getting
spell this out
psychological.
for me.
No, I'm not going to do that because then it loses all subtext. And I told everybody that we were not going to get into the subtext.
Okay. Well, I can never get anybody to debate me. I would love to.
I don't want to
They feel
debate.
I've tried to
Yeah.
set up debates, but
Oh, really?
I
Okay.
mean about the gender identity thing, but
Yeah.
nobody
Okay.
will. They ask everybody, and nobody will
Huh.
do it.
Okay. All right. But you're willing to do that. If I
Of
got
course.
ContraPoints on,
Sure.
yeah,
Totally.
you'd go pugilist on their ass. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, anybody really. Anybody, as long as they're engaging in good faith and not just
Well, what does that
trolling or
even mean?
there to
Okay.
manipulate.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, that's the problem I have with debate.
Fight
It's all about
fair.
manipulation. I don't think there's a fair fight. It's basically a assertion contest. I don't think any debate has convinced anybody to change their mind on anything. But, debate me on that.
Sorry, I blanked.
No, that's fine. What's your not tequila called? What's that called again?
Oh, Ricea?
Rice. Yeah. So is it made out of rice?
No, it's like moonshine from
What
agave.
does that mean? Okay,
Am I
moonshine
saying
just
that
means that it was made
agave
out of type.
right?
So like
Did I say that?
agave. Okay, so
Um,
it's a cactus
agave,
derived.
rice, like it's spelled Raicilla. And there's lots of different like you can get quite a wide variety of different flavors from it, just like a scotch or like a mezcal or something like that. So you
Oh,
can
okay.
get sort of like
So it's like barrel
smoky.
aged or something. Okay, yeah.
It's really good though. I've been drinking a lot of it.
Do you have like post traumatic fern disorder?
No, not at all.
If I
I
showed
think
you a picture of a
to
fern,
be honest.
okay, no, you're not fixated on that. What are you scared of, Meghan Murphy? What makes you scared? What do you worry about?
Well, I mean,
Talking about
I don't
COVID.
want to die.
Okay,
What makes me worry? I don't
yeah,
spend a lot of time worrying. I
no.
guess I worry about the state of the world. I'm genuinely scared that we're going in, I'm not exaggerating at all. I genuinely am scared that we're going towards 1984. So I suppose I worry about losing freedom and rights and
Yeah.
Are
you safer in Mexico?
Totally. Well, for now.
Okay.
There's no, I mean, it's completely different here. I mean, Canada is really terrible as far as
Yeah, it's kind of sad.
Yeah.
I thought they were a bastion of hope during the George W. Bush era, but it turns out that they just jumped on the woke bandwagon. It's pretty that whole conversion bill that they I don't know. Have you kept on top of C6? I have not kept on top of that. Did you go
Yeah, a
through?
little
Yeah.
bit. I mean, I think,
Which was about banning conversion therapy as applied to
yeah, I
gender
mean, it's
identity.
still
Yeah.
ongoing. I don't think there's a date, but I think it's not going to pass until late spring or something, maybe. I mean, we're still fighting it and opposing it and writing about it and encouraging people to contact their MPs and let them know. But I mean, it's one of those things like Bill C-16 where they're just going to
Yeah.
ignore
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
women think,
So
and
you've left the country for Mexico. Are you going to give up on the political process? What keeps you believing in activism? What keeps you believing in being a voice for change? What keeps you
well,
from
I still
giving
want to
up?
fight for freedom
Okay.
and fight for our rights.
Yeah.
I mean, just because I don't live there doesn't mean that it's not important, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I care about what's going on everywhere. And like I still have my apartment. And like I I I don't know. I don't I just I feel so like I feel so pessimistic about the future of Canada that I'm just preparing myself to
Okay. Yeah.
bail. But we'll see how it goes. But I just don't think
Yeah.
it's going to get better. Um, and
But you're
and
still
nobody in
willing to
Canada
fight
is
for women.
fighting for it to get better. People are not fighting for they're not fighting for rights in Canada. They're fighting against rights, and
Hmm.
it's very dull there. Like it's not a very warm, friendly place. And I just never really realized because
Okay.
I was,
Yeah.
part of like I was born in Vancouver and grew up in Vancouver, and so I didn't realize how cliquey it was because I was part of the clique, right? Like I always had lots of friends and I always knew lots of people in Vancouver. And so I didn't realize, people come to Vancouver and they say it's really hard to make friends here. It's really hard to meet people. Everyone here is so cold. And I was like, what are you talking about? Everybody's fine. Like,
Mhm.
but it's true. It's like, and the woke politics are insane.
Mhm.
People in Vancouver think they're very political and are
Yeah.
so stupid and ignorant and are just virtue signaling and have no idea what they're talking about.
Hmm.
People are quite fake. People care a lot about social status in their social circles.
Okay.
So that's, people don't speak out. People are not willing to step out of the status quo. People are really afraid of what their friends will think, like
Hmm.
people are pretty privileged in Canada. And so if you have that kind of privilege, you should be the one to speak out. You have less to lose, but they don't. And it's mostly social status and what their friends will think and what people will say online. And I just think that's pathetic. And just, yeah, I don't think that they value community. I don't think that they value, um, people and fun and celebration and joy.
Hmm.
I think like if you go to other places, like even in the UK, right? It's like if you go to the UK, everyone is still going out to the pub together and hanging out, like, like 70-year-olds, 20-year-olds, everyone. In Canada, the like social scene is very youth centric. So once you hit, 30, 35, you're kind of supposed to shut it down. It's like, nope, no more fun for you, no more meeting people, no more going out. And that doesn't happen in other places in the
Hmm.
world.
Hmm.
And it's just, yeah, I mean, it's people are a lot friendlier here. They're a lot more open. Yeah, like it's really easy to
I
make
guess
friends.
it's too early to ask you to gauge the shallowness of that lifestyle. I'm sure that people are just as shallow everywhere. I think that there's like an even spread of shallowness. There's just different expressions of that.
What do you mean by shallow?
I don't know. To what extent is the party life deep and meaningful? Like what is the
When partying, it's like you're meeting people and you're talking to people and you're having conversations and you're dancing and you're listening to music. Like, of course, that's meaningful.
Okay, okay.
You're connecting, you're making friends, you're learning things. Like when you
I
have, like, I go and have conversations with people I
okay,
don't know and I learn about what they think and about
okay.
what their lives are like and stuff. Like I'm not 20. Like I'm not there just like getting like fucked up and hooking up with some dude, like, I mean, that's fine too.
That's that's happening on the sideline. But what you're really doing is this anthropological investigation of the nightlife of the surf town.
No, I mean, I'm participating as much as I can, but like I, I'm single. Like I was in relationships for like 6 years or something, right? Like, and then I
Was
broke up,
this like a ropes
and then
course, or is
COVID
this a single?
happened,
Yeah,
and
okay.
then what?
Yeah. This is a series of serious monogamous relationships, and then COVID happened.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So I
Yeah.
was in a relationship with my boyfriend for 3 years, and then we broke up, and then I was in a relationship like almost immediately after that. I sort of crossed over into a new relationship for like 2 years, and before that, I'd been in a relationship for like a year, and there wasn't much time between that. Like there was like 2 or 3 months before I met my next boyfriend, so I wasn't single for a really long time. And then my breakup, I was really, really sad and upset for a really long time. Like you probably knew that. I probably talked to you about that.
Yeah.
Like I was really upset. Like I just was like crying all the time and stressed and depressed. Like I missed him a lot. And like it was really hard on me. And that was also the time when I was like getting protested by hundreds of people in Toronto and stuff like that, right? So I was getting like these crazy, like intense like attacks on my person. Like he had been like my major support system. Like I feel like I'm gonna start crying. He was my one that, like, he helped me with my events, he helped me with my website, like he's the person that I talked to about all of this stuff, and he was very supportive, and then he was just gone and like bailed on me, right? And I was like in this really stressful situation, and anyway, so so I was really, really sad for a long time, and then COVID hits, and it's like, I don't have my person, I don't have any person, it's like impossible to me. I was just like miserable and depressed and like stressed, and so I mean, anyway, I'm having lots of fun here. Finally, I'm like, yay! I love being single. I would hate to be in a relationship here. Like you would have no fun. Like you have to be single to really fully have fun here. And there's like just a million people to meet every time you leave your house, and so it's great.
In that situation, is it that you can't really mingle when you're with somebody? Is there something? It's not necessarily that you're hooking up with one person after another person after another person, but there's a essential freedom to not being linked to a individual that allows you to unlock a lot of doors there.
You are just less likely to do that. I mean, don't you find you have less? I don't know. You sort of just. I don't know. I feel like when you're in a relationship, you're a little bit more tied down.
Yeah.
To compromise. You're less likely to go out and meet people because you're less inclined to go out and meet people. Like you can still go out, but you're not gonna. It's not the same, and you don't have the same freedom to just talk to whoever you want because somebody will get mad or jealous or.
Fern lady will come along.
Somebody just says, Megan, you have a serious alcohol problem. It's not a problem.
Wait, hold on. You have not drank a drop since we started this. It's been pure
I've just
water.
been drinking water.
It's just 2 cups of water now. I'm the only one who's been drinking.
Yeah.
And
I don't know. People who don't like to drink and go out think that everybody who likes to drink and go out has an alcohol problem. But not all of us do.
Is there beach volleyball down there?
No. Ugh.
Oh, really? You don't like bouncing around in a bikini with a ball?
I don't like volleyball. I don't like beach volleyball.
Okay. Right. That's fine.
Well, now everyone is analyzing me, and I'm getting annoyed.
Oh, yeah. No. She's getting...
I'm not addicted to starting over and over with new people. It's not my fault. I didn't want to break up. He had attachment issues.
Do you have a long-term relationship
with... I'm going to have as much fun as I can before I end up in another relationship again. I'm sorry, what?
Do you have a long-term relationship with an artistic or intellectual project? Have you been in a long-term
relationship with an artistic or intellectual project?
Yeah. something that
my
you're
work.
making. Yeah, your work. Is that
Well,
not
that's the
alone?
other thing is that I tend to prioritize my work over relationships. Like I really like my work a lot and it's really important to me. And I find that not everybody understands that.
Hmm.
Like to me, like I want to be in a long-term relationship, but I don't want to compromise my work or,
You're fun.
my fun or my freedom.
Hmm.
And I mean, I really like my ideal long-term relationship is with somebody that I kind of only see once or twice a week max. Like I don't really want to live with somebody because I'm a writer and I work at home and I don't
Oh,
want the distraction. Like I need
yeah.
that space.
Okay.
And I can't be with somebody who wants to be with me all the time. I don't want to be with somebody all the time. I don't have time. I literally don't have time to be with somebody more than that because I also want to keep my friends and socialize and then, work as much as I can. And
Huh.
so,
That was a huge piece of my Meghan Murphy jigsaw puzzle that you gifted me.
oh, really?
Yeah.
Why?
You used to talk about men not wanting to open up, and you came across to me that you were somebody who just wants a man there, so they would open up and you'd talk to them, and then you guys would share feelings all the time. But you really are a solitary individual. And you only want to participate in that at your leisure or once or twice a week, as you said.
I don't know if you could call me solitary because I'm highly social.
You just carved out a aspect of your personality where you want to be alone. You want to be social on your terms. You don't want to have
But
to
I want to,
share or
sure, but
compromise.
I
Yeah.
do want to be in a relationship. I don't
Yeah.
want to just be single forever. I mean, that's sort of
Hmm.
a cycle, like it's too much work. But
Yeah. But
but
what's your relationship to your work then? Can you conceptualize the relationship you have to your writing to your work as that of one with a mother and a child, a woman and a man, a man and a woman and a friend? Like what is your work to you?
it would probably be like a child,
Your child.
more of a relationship to a child, just in that it's what I think about most of the time and it's like
Mm.
my life. Like I can't imagine not having this work. Like I wouldn't feel fulfilled or happy or good. Like I feel really happy and fulfilled in my life, and a lot of that has to do with the work that I do. And if I wasn't able to do it, I would probably be depressed and miserable.
Has your work ever abandoned you? I'm not talking about you getting kicked off Twitter. I'm talking about your work, like actually not working anymore for you. Has it ever died on the
Mm,
vine or gotten to a dead
no,
end where you had to
I'm just
abandon?
always intellectually curious, so no. But
Okay.
I mean, I did, like, I've talked to you before about how I was starting to get intellectually bored with feminism, so I wanted to, like, branch out and write about other things and talk about other things and interview people about other things, which is why I started the podcast and the YouTube channel, because I wanted another space to, like, explore different topics and ideas and get outside of that.
Mm-hmm.
So I was starting to feel repetitive and like I wasn't being challenged anymore, but I resolved that. I didn't.
Have you been challenged by your guests, and in what way? And is there like a story you can tell about being challenged by somebody that you had on your channel
I mean,
in that space, in the vocal
I
space?
think I just always I interview people that I can learn from. Like I try not to interview people who I don't find interesting or that I don't feel like can offer me a new perspective or
Yeah.
change my mind about something or provide with new information and my audience with new information. Like, so I think that all of them probably are challenging in some way, like I want something new to come out of it every time. Um, I'm not super interested in having
Yeah.
conversations with people who I already know what they think or, who aren't going to bring anything new to the table.
Yeah. I don't think, turning that question on myself, I don't think I've been necessarily challenged by any of my guests, but I have been expanded. I have an additive sort of process with my interviews where I'm like, oh, there's a whole nother room that's added to my realm of thought.
Oh, okay. I mean, I guess that's true of me too. I don't know, maybe challenged
Yeah.
is
Rather
what I
than
was
completely
talking about.
renovated, or like now I have to reassess my basic assumptions, which might be a problem with me. Maybe I should have more people on that would actually challenge me in that way. But I find the
Maybe you're too
additive
smart for
format.
everyone.
I don't think so. But I can play smart on YouTube, which there's a pretty low bar for that.
Is there? I don't know. I guess you know what? I actually don't watch YouTube that much. I'm more of a
Yeah,
podcast person.
yeah, yeah,
I tend
yeah.
to not have the patience for the watching, so I listen.
On the run or during boxing, you just like pop
On my way to
in.
boxing, I listen to podcasts on my walk to
Okay,
boxing.
okay, yeah.
I
Walk
sometimes even listen to your podcast.
walk into boxing. Yeah, I have interesting guests. You among them, actually. So
Yeah.
much so that we have each other on each other's shows.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
did you already eat dinner?
No, I have to go eat dinner
Yeah.
soon because
Yeah.
I'm supposed to go out again tonight, although I really don't want to.
Well,
actually.
you go and have a fritas. What do you usually eat in Surfer Mexican Town? What's there on the menu? Like some tallapas
Oh, I
or
mean, I
something?
just have normal food often. Like I do eat a lot of quesadillas, I will say that, but I
Okay.
also like just go and have like a salad or like pizza or something like that.
Yeah.
There's really good food here. There's like for some reason a lot of really good Italian restaurants here.
Oh,
Um,
okay. Thanks
and
to all those mask-toting rich white Americans coming through.
I'm not against the tourists. I just find their mask obsession funny because they're like walking around outside with their like husband and they're wearing. I was like, what are you doing? You're on the beach, like.
I don't wear a
And
mask
everything
outside.
here is open air. You know, all the restaurants, like the vast majority of bars, like
Open
you know, there's
air.
not a lot of enclosed spaces that people are in. Um, and but yeah, I was hoping to stay home tonight, but some of my friends are going out. So I
Well,
might have to
you need to at least eat, but I don't know. Are you gonna have the fear of missing out? Is that worth? Is
Yes, I
that
always
worth?
have the fear of missing out. It's horrible.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I get swept up in that feeling, and then I have a fear of missing out on my own work, so I scurry back to my little hovel and go tippy with the
Yeah, I mean,
Microsoft
there's
Word
always that.
document.
I'm always feeling like I'm not doing enough and
Yeah.
that there's missing out on things that I should, but I just don't have time. I wish that I had like an extra week in the week, to be honest. There's always things that I want to do and write about that I don't have time for. And then I'm also fearful of missing out on fun.
Fun. Who's a guest that's coming up that we can plug? Is there a teaser you can give?
I don't like giving teasers just in case people cancel.
Oh yeah,
You know
cancel
what I
culture.
mean?
It's very
'Cause
real.
sometimes that happens. Like I'll
Yeah.
have something planned and then they'll bail and then I'll
Bail.
have like so I don't like to tell people like oh so
They're
and so
gone.
because that's happened to me quite a bit where I've had exciting people booked and then they cancel.
Ooh,
So
I'm trying to
like
get Milo Yiannopoulos on.
oh that would be
I,
so
th-
fun.
I think it would
I would
be. I think it's going to be a complete train wreck if it happens. I think it's going to
if
be
you
complete.
do get him, you'll have to pass on his I get all my contact info from you. Just for a while, I started to feel bad because every time I was messaging you on WhatsApp, I was like, can you send me this person's email?
Yeah.
I'm not on Twitter. I can't get a hold of him.
I think he's he wants attention, but I don't know if he wants it so bad that it'll come out on my channel. But if he does, I think my style and his style will be an absolute disaster, but it'll be a very fascinating disaster because I don't know if he can chill. I don't know if he can chill. I don't know if he can just have a real conversation or if
Oh,
he's
I
so
think that would be so fun.
if he's a persona. I don't speak to personas. I speak to persons. You know.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
So
I feel like I
don't-
would be very disamused by the whole thing.
Yeah. I think you would give a more smoother product, but I don't know. But I'm trying it anyway. So maybe it'll happen. I don't chase clout. I don't want to interview big names. I want to interview unknown people or marginalized people. I don't want to deal with somebody who has a big following. I don't chase
Right.
after that. I think about that and then I'm like, well, if I get them on my stage, I just want to know what they cook for dinner and like what they're wrestling with when nobody's watching. And if somebody's
Yeah.
in the limelight all the time, like what are they wrestling with? And can they afford to bring that into the light? when other people are watching.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I know I don't really like to interview people who are just big because it would
Yeah.
be like good for my channel or whatever. I also tend not to do
Yeah.
that.
Well, there's
I
that game.
really
Yeah.
genuinely usually just contact people who I just find
Yeah.
interesting. They said something interesting, they wrote something interesting,
Yeah.
they tweeted something interesting, like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I don't yeah, I
Oh,
don't
you should have
really
Jody Shaw on.
Jody Shaw is coming on.
Okay, there we go. Maybe she'll bail, maybe she won't bail.
I'm actually supposed to talk to her tonight, not for the actual interview, but we're supposed
Okay.
to
I
have like
really
a
enjoyed my time with her. We
chat.
hardly talked about politics at all. We just talked about
Oh, okay,
what she
cool.
does. But
Yeah, so I mean, unless she cancels on me, but yeah,
she's unabashedly Gen X, unlike you, who's running from the title.
I just don't think I am. I mean, I don't know why. I don't know what else. I'm not anything. Stop trying to pin me down. Put me in a box.
It's not fun. Unless you're wrapped and somebody unwraps you like a present. That's fun. And then you just get to jump out of the box.
I'm claustrophobic.
You are claustrophobic.
I guess, did you interview Jordan Peterson?
No, I
Somebody in the
spoke with him.
comments.
I briefly interviewed him in a very chance encounter in front of a couple thousand people, but it was not recorded. I threw a softball at him about equity.
Are you going to interview him? Somebody just said something in the comments, so that's why I'm asking.
I'm
But
totally willing. I should reach out, but like I don't like being rejected, so I haven't reached out. But maybe he would be willing. I tried to interview his daughter, and it fell through 3 times, and I just gave up.
Damn.
But I would actually like to talk to him about things that are more personal, like teaching. Like, does he miss teaching, and what does he miss about teaching, and what did he get out of that, and what is it like to what's his pedagogy, and talk to him about that stuff, and then dip into the
Yeah, it
Jungian
would be
archetype
interesting to
stuff.
talk to him for sure. I would like to interview him sometime, but I don't like being rejected either. I was supposed to have
Exactly.
Greenwald on, and he had to cancel because his
Glenn.
Wi-Fi was messed up, and I was
Oh.
so excited, and then I've never been able to set something up again, and I just
Keep on trying. That guy's a
Douglas
big
Murray
name.
too. I keep trying to
Oh.
reach, and he doesn't write me back.
I'm fine with Andrew Doyle. I have Doyle on next week, and Graham
Andrew won't write me
Linehan.
back either.
Andrew?
Maybe
Well,
he didn't get my
he's not your.
emails.
Yeah, you're not his type. Don't be offended. I'm his type. You're not his type. You can't have everybody
What
Meghan
does that
Murphy.
mean?
Well, you know what it means. You know exactly what it means, because some people are super
No, I
straight, and other
don't.
people are super in other ways.
Oh, he's not interested in me because I'm a lady?
It's the buxomity of you is not
He's not
his
interested
jam.
in my buxomity?
Yeah, it's just that it doesn't do it for everybody. That's fine. We should wrap up though, so you can
Okay.
eat and
No,
not
I'm
miss out on
hungry.
fun, and I can go and cook dinner as well. Do you have any words of wisdom? Is there any is there anything that you realized in the last month in Mexico that you didn't expect?
Do whatever you want.
Okay.
Always have fun. Leave Canada. Don't suffer. Like, just take a risk. Like, this is the best decision I've ever made in my life. And I was nervous about it because I was like, oh, what if I get stuck here? What if I can't go back to Canada? Like, and I was just like, no, I'm just going to do this. I can't live my life like this in Canada. I'm too depressed, I'm too anxious. It sucks. I've always wanted to live in Mexico, so it's actually a good opportunity too, because there was nothing really tying me there because all of my in-person stuff was gone. There's no meetings, there's no events. So I just think people should keep taking risks. Like, don't play it safe. That's my opinion. You should continue to try to have adventures, and you should talk to as many people as you can and meet people and make friends. And it's just like the best thing in life. I literally just I go out. I like going out by myself a lot. Like, I go out for dinner by myself a lot, which I think is something that you start to enjoy when you get older. Because I think when I was younger, the idea of going out for dinner by myself seemed like embarrassing and boring and horrible.
Yeah.
But I learned that I really like going out for dinner by myself. And also, and just like sometimes I read, and sometimes I just like stare off into space like a weirdo, or like watch people or create stories in my head or whatever. But often, like, Like if you go out for dinner by yourself and you sit at the bar, inevitably somebody will start talking to you. Sometimes it's a man, sometimes like people just always come and start talking to me. And then you like made a new friend and you had an interesting conversation. And you'll find that people are actually great, that most people are not into woke ideology, that they're on the same train as you. That's why part of the reason why I called my podcast The Same Drugs, because I was talking to all these people and we were all sort of thinking this, like, no, this is dumb. Like, no, this is wrong. But if you look at the mainstream media or liberal media or whatever you want to call it, you look at social media, you think everybody is on board about woke stuff, right? BLM, gender identity ideology, COVID restrictions, critical race theory. Like, you think everybody is, because it's what you're shown, but it's not. Most people are freaked out by the COVID lockdowns and restrictions. Like the amount of people who saw me reading 1984 and they're like, oh, good time to be reading that. It's just, I can't even count. You know what I mean? Like, and it's just very, it will make you not cynical, but feel like more hopeful about the world by getting out there and talking to people and, you know, asking them questions and having real conversations with real human beings. Go move to Mexico. Highly recommend. Go sit at the bar, talk to whoever's sitting next to you.
One last super chat from Meghan Murphy from Mike Krapinski. Maybe lack diversity of ages, incomes, lifestyles. Downtown Vancouver, Liberty Village in Toronto, is young people of a type who get older and move, then are replaced.
I'm not sure I totally understand, but I would say that there's a limited demographic in the part of Vancouver that I live in. I mean, it went full yuppie, kind of. Like, it got really expensive, and they built condos everywhere, so it got super ugly, and nobody can afford to keep a business open there, or a restaurant or a bar, so nothing fun can remain. You can't build community because people can't live there. People are leaving. People have to go buy houses elsewhere if they have families, etc. And, you know, who wants to hang out with a bunch of yuppies? I'm not interested in your condo life. Family.
Speaking of which, who are you going to hang out with tonight? A bunch of yuppies?
No, I'm not friends with yuppies. Give me a break. I met some girls here. One of them befriended me in the lineup to the bathroom and was like, be my friend. I was like, okay. And so I started hanging out with her, and she had these friends who were these two sisters who were Mexican, and I love them. They're awesome. So we're the got a little crew now.
Well, I think we should wrap this up. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Meghan Murphy says to just break out of your shell, live your life to the fullest, hug people, make out with people, have fun, drive a motorbike, go to Mexico, get out of your rut, do something nice to yourself, and explore the soul that is bursting free. If only you would stop depressing it with fear and wokeness. Did I do that right? I don't know if I did that right.
Yes, that was great.
Yeah. Thank you guys for showing up. Thank you, Meghan, for joining me on the channel and for allowing me to pay attention to you. I know you like to stay hidden, but you really do light up when somebody's giving you their shiny eyes. So.
Oh yeah, that's a shocker, eh? Yeah. I hate talking. I hate attention. No, that was fun. I always like talking to you. I'll have to have you on my channel again soon.
Yeah,
I want to do more live streams because I really like doing live streams, and I sort of keep.
They're fun. They're relaxed. They're expansive.
I mean, it has to be the right guest. Is the issue.
Or guests. I think we probably should have had Colin Wright on when he was in earlier and just like forced him to open up. Have you talked to him? You should talk to him.
No, I need to talk to him. I should interview him. I've thought about it before.
I interviewed him and Emma Hilton. Emma is a gem. You should have her on, Emma Hilton. But we can talk off screen. So let's say goodbye to everybody because they're saying goodbye to us. Love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Have a good night.